breaking down all 32 things you missed from Survivor Season 43, Episode 2. Careful for any spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. And as a reminder, we'll be announcing the winner of last week's buff giveaway at some point throughout this video. If you want to enter next week's buff giveaway, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below your favorite moment from this week's episode. Let's get started with number 32, Baka After Tribal. We didn't get one of those previously on Survivor segments at the start of this episode, so a little recap: Mariah got voted out, but Owen received a single vote from Mariah, meaning he's a little panicky right now for receiving a vote at his very first tribal council. And Gabler makes sure to tell everyone that he trusted them enough at tribal council not to play his idol. Remember, this idol is only good for 2 tribal councils. That's gonna be important a little later in the video. Number 31, Crazy Storm. A crazy storm might be a little bit of an exaggeration. It was more of like a storm montage. If you blink, you really would have missed it, as we flash forward right to the next morning. I think it's finally starting to hit Sammy that he's out here playing Survivor. Survivor's real.
When it starts raining, I could go to the convenience store away from my mom to pick me up, or I could run inside, or I could throw my windshield wipers on. We can't do that out here.
And even though Gabler's in pretty good shape, played football throughout his life, loves to go camping and hiking, playing Survivor is on a completely different level. He's in pretty rough shape right now and needs to rest and relax. Survivor places you in so many tough situations, as Gabler physically needs to rest right now, but he knows the longer he rests out here, the worse his tribe's gonna think of him. And we'll talk about this a little later, as we get a lot of flashbacks this episode, but I really like how we got some character development from Gabler without needing that flashback, without needing that sob story. Number 30, Bessie's strategy and idol hunt. Dwight and Jessie end up going off together. A little bit of idol hunting, I guess, but this is more of a time for them to strategize together. Pretty awkward, but Dwight thinks on this Bessie tribe, or the red tribe, there's 3 pairs. You got Noel and Justine, you got Nneka and Cody, and finally Dwight thinks him and Jessie are close together. But then we cut to Jessie, where he says in reality it's really himself, Nneka and Cody together as a trio, and Dwight's off on his own. And Jessie continues to surprise me, combining both the strategy part of Survivor with the social part of Survivor, going up to Dwight and asking him to be his island wife out here, which is gonna be a reoccurring theme throughout the entire episode. Number 29, White Flashback. If you watched all the preseason content, you already knew this, but Dwight's super into politics, and when he was little, he would reach out to all these politicians asking for junior interviews. He connects this back to Survivor, saying he's not scared to go up to anyone and just start a conversation. Except for Cody, he's struggling to connect with Cody. It's tough. We get a couple flashbacks later in the episode as well, but I really like how this flashback wasn't a sob story. Number 28, Jessie the power player. I'm fully convinced at this point that Jesse's the power player on the red tribe. He's controlling what's going on. We get a little more of the back and forth between Dwight and Jessie, where Dwight starts to go off about how he's not really the biggest fan of Cody. Cody's not talking strategy with him, but then once again in confessional, we get Jessie undermining what Dwight's saying, where he says he absolutely loves Cody and how he's playing Survivor. And that right there is the best alliance you can have in Survivor. Someone who's always gonna be looking out for you when someone else throws your name out. As Jesse's hyping Cody up, we see him building his hat, which again is gonna be super important later in the episode, don't worry. Jessie talks about how the only person he can't connect with on this tribe is Justine. Again, super important later in the episode, and how Jesse's fully got Cody's back in this game. Again, this will be important later in the episode. You get what I'm trying to say? Jesse's at the forefront of this tribe. Number 27, Justine out of her element. A little bit of conflicting opinions here. If you remember in episode 1, Justine talks about how she's definitely not a girly girl. But then we cut to a montage of her complaining so much, and it was at this very moment I knew she wasn't gonna be winning the game. It's hard to win Survivor if the producers are making you look bad in the edit, and we also get this hilarious tweet from Rick Devins. Number 26, Coco working out. We cut to the Coco tribe, or the blue tribe, in a very edge of extinction type moment. I'll play the clip right here so you know what I'm talking about, but it really looked like this Coco tribe was just dancing together. But in reality, I think Ryan was walking them through a variation of a 3-way toe tap, which just helps with like hip mobility and balance. Number 25, Carla equals power player. Similar to how I think Jessie holds all the power on the red tribe, I think Carla holds all the power on the blue tribe. It's not gonna be important this episode, but because it's the only moments we spend with the Coco tribe, I wanted to make sure we talk about how the producers are always letting us know Carla's in the middle of this tribe. Carla's in an alliance with James, Lindsay, and Cassidy, but at the same time, Ryan and Gio also think Carla's with them. Number 24, Ryan and Gio. Ryan and Gio, these 2 players end up connecting instantly, and it goes so far that Ryan says it feels like they were friends before Survivor. They find some almond trees, and Gio teaches Ryan how to open up the almonds, and they also find some papaya trees. Number 23, Gio flashback. This is gonna be our second of 3 flashbacks throughout the entire episode. When he was 18, he told his parents he was gay day, they kicked him out of the house and he was homeless for a little bit. This made Gio very depressed, but he was eventually able to push through. Relating this back to Survivor, he says he's always gonna push through in the game. I have some problems with these flashbacks, but I'll save that for when we talk about the third flashback of the episode. And this is literally the last time we're gonna see this Coco Blue tribe the entire episode. Number 22, Noel and Cody. We get a close-up of Noel putting her leg on, and I thought for sure 100% this is where we're gonna get a flashback of Noel. Actually, it turns out Cody's a super curious person with a great heart. As number 21, Cody flashback. I feel like such a bad person when I end up complaining about these flashbacks. They truly are good, heartfelt stories. In this situation, when Cody was in high school, he had a friend get cancer, he lost his leg, and about a year later, he lost his life. And that made Cody the person he is today. I think this flashback works the best this episode because Cody's gonna be a big character a little later on, and it helps us emphasize with this really crazy character. But you gotta admit, it's a lot to get 3 flashbacks in literally the first 15 minutes of the episode. Number 20, Owen getting water. Behind the scenes, there is producers, cameraman following you around wherever you go, but it must be so awkward walking around with a big thing of water just talking to yourself. Owen's complaining a little bit here. He thinks his tribe's lazy for not wanting to get water, but he knows in this game hydration is key. And while Owen's doing all the hard work, we see Ellie searching for the hidden immunity idol and gets this close to finding it. Number 19, Ellie and Janine. The girls are actually down in numbers on this yellow Baka Tribe, but Ellie and Janine still believe they're in the power seat. And that's just because they don't believe the guys are playing the strategy part of Survivor. A little bit of irony because in real life, Owen's a little bit older than Sammy, but Ellie says these two are like her 2 kids. You got Sammy, the firstborn child that does things on his own, and you got Owen, the second kid that needs a little more attention. Number 18, Baka Boys being Baka. As these 2 girls are making fun of the boys on the Baka Tribe for not strategizing, we literally cut to them just having fun. But they do recognize the girls are a super tight duo, and the guys, all they have to do is stick together as a threesome, and they're good to go. Sammy gives a little bit of a weird statement talking about how he never likes guys alliances or girls alliances, but he ends up going with a guys alliance anyway. Number 17, immunity and reward. You know what they say, it's a classic 400-pound Survivor snake where you gotta dive into the ocean, climb a tall cage, release a heavy snake, drag it onto a table, find the number tiles, solve the combination, and then 2 players solve a massive Survivor puzzle. And the first 2 tribes to finish win immunity and reward. And at this moment, I stopped myself and I'm like, wait, what? 2 tribes get immunity? Last episode was 2 hours long and we only had 1 person voted out, and this episode is 90 minutes long and we only have 1 person voted out. Please, Survivor, do more of these longer episodes. And of course, we can't forget about the reward. First place gets some fishing gear, and second place gets some less cool fishing gear. Number 16, the challenge. We get classic Jeff Probst jokes throughout the entire challenge about a snake. I think Ryan's gonna be safe for whenever Coco goes to tribal council. He shows off he's a beast in these challenges, pulling the snake by himself. I kept thinking when they were jumping off the cage they were gonna fall on each other, and NECA falls apart throughout the challenge on multiple occasions, not being able to lift the snake up and dropping the bag of puzzle pieces. Ultimately, Baka comes in first place, Coco gets second place, and Bessie gets completely blown out. Number 15, Bessie after challenge. Obviously, after the challenge performance, you're gonna think going into tribal council, NECA's gonna be the obvious boot, but we had so much Survivor episode left that the obvious boot was not gonna be the person going home. We all knew NECA was gonna be safe. We knew from earlier in the episode that Justine and Noel are a close duo, and the obvious vote out for them is NECA. And we get this super awkward moment where NECA asks them who they're gonna vote out.
I don't know. Yeah, we need to talk to the boy. Yeah, I need to talk to everybody.
Number 14, Bacchus celebrates the win. We get a little intermission of Bessie strategizing together before tribal council, and something like this can only happen if you get more than 60 minutes for a Survivor episode. And Prettium sums it up perfectly with this tweet right here. Number 13, Ellie winner's edit. It feels like we got a flashback of Ellie's story without really getting a full flashback with pictures and videos. As she talks about growing up, she had ADHD, she had dyslexia, and in school, teachers would literally tell her she's dumb. She pushed through in life, got a doctoral degree, but even still, that didn't fix the feeling of never feeling smart enough. Until this moment right here on Survivor, winning the puzzle, that must have felt so good for Ellie. I really feel like a moment like this you don't include if it's not important later in the season, so look for Ellie to be a big player later on, and if I'm right, maybe even a possible winner. Number 12, fishing drama. We really don't need serious strategy talk throughout a full Survivor episode. The problem with the 60-minute episodes is really that's all you have time for. This is just a fun little moment Gabe Gabler says for sure he knows how to use the fishing gear. He's gonna go out there and get him some protein. We literally cut to Gabler a second later saying he has no idea how to use a Hawaiian sling. I bet you this loony right here that he ends up losing the Hawaiian sling next episode. And yeah, that's right, I'm Canadian, our dollars are coins. Number 11, idol confusion. We get a little bit of strategy talk from Owen, Janine, and Ellie about Gabler's idol and the confusion around it. You see, this is a shot clock idol. It's only good for 2 tribal councils, but they're not sure if it's good for the first 2 tribal councils of the season or if they're good for 2 Gabler tribal councils. Janine gets a little sneaky and goes through Gabler's bag, which I agree, I never know how to feel about people going through other people's bag, and they find out it's good for Gabler's next 2 tribal councils, which we need to pause. This is a super overpowered idol when you think these are small tribes of 5 or 6 players, and in Survivor seasons with 3 tribes, a tribe might not go to tribal council that often. And talking about crazy idol moments, we're getting dangerously close to 5,000 subscribers, and when we get there, I'm going to be making a dedicated video on the downfall of the idol king Russell Hantz. If you're enjoying this video so far, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Number 10, Jessie in the middle. Dwight not having a vote here really messes everything up, as Justine 100% wants to vote NECA out of the game, but just in case she plays her shot in the dark and it ends up being successful, she wants to split the votes between NECA and Cody. There's one problem with this though, Dwight does not have his vote, so they need Jessie to help split the votes. Jessie's 2 biggest allies in this game is literally NECA and Cody, the people you want to split the votes between. Number 9, Jessie versus Justine. It's pretty hilarious. We get a confessional from Justine saying she's good with Jessie, he's gonna work with them. But then we cut to Jessie saying no, he does not trust Justine. She's a salesperson, those people are scary. And then we get a little bit of fun editing from the producers as they show us a conversation between these 2 earlier in the day where Justine literally tells Jessie she's good at lying. Like what? Why would you ever say that? Number 8, Jessie and Dwight. We gotta remember Jessie and Dwight, they're an idol couple out here. Jessie's so good at combining the social and strategy game as he tells Dwight, my vote is your vote. Ultimately, Dwight's playing a little messy here as you shouldn't be so forceful with how the tribal council should go when you literally don't have a say in what happens. Jessie and Dwight both want to vote out different people, but the problem is Dwight doesn't have a say. Justine slowly walks into the conversation and she straight up says to Jessie, can I trust you? This is way too pushy from Justine. Number 7, Jessie and Cody and NECA. It's no surprise we know Cody, Jessie, and NECA are working together. It's not that important overall, but come on, Cody's such a fun character asking these guys how you spell Justine's name. Number 6, Beware Advantage. This feels very Tony-esque from Survivor Winners at War and the Extortion Advantage. These Beware Advantages are always giving fun, awesome TV moments, but I'm starting to think the players should not grab them when they see them. And look, I'm saying that as an outside viewer watching the show, but if I'm out there playing Survivor, I'm 100% grabbing the advantage as well. So everyone that gets to play Survivor, they get some souvenirs, some bags, some bottles of water, and attached to some of these items are some beads. Showing off his social skills, Cody's got to get everyone on his tribe willingly giving him the beads. If he's successful in this, he gets a hidden immunity idol, but if he's not able to do this, he loses his vote. And if Cody loses his vote, this is really bad because it's going to be a 2-2 situation. They're going to be going to rocks. Number 5, Cody needs help. You really can't do this alone. It's going to be a team effort to get all the beads from all the players. Cody goes to Jessie first, showing how close these 2 really are in the game. And we get this hilarious tweet from Zach. If you're following the chess world, you know what that means. Anyway, it's hilarious. The hat from earlier in the episode actually has purpose right here. They end up telling NECA as well, so in combination, Cody, Jessie, and NECA are able to work together to try and get everyone else to get the beads. Number 4, hat talk. Jessie gives the beads first, NECA second, and in fact, Justine volunteers her beads. And with a little fun peer pressure, they're able to get Dwight's as well. But going into tribal council, Noel's the unknown factor. Well, at least that's what we thought. Number 3, tribal council. Throughout the entire tribal council, I was looking at Noel's wrist. I wanted to see if she still had those beads on. We get Cody messing up a little bit as Justine wants one of those hats, and he's like, well, if you survive tribal council, I guess I'll make you one. We get Dwight and Jessie fully getting married in front of Jeff Probst, but later Dwight tweets this out. Number 2, surprise editing. If any Survivor producers are somehow watching this video, I want to say thank you so much. What a fantastic episode. With some fun editing, we see NECA able to convince Noel to give Cody those beads. We like to bring up Angelina from Survivor David vs. Goliath whenever we can, and this tweet right here reminds me of that moment. Number 1, Justine voted out. The plan works. Cody got his vote back. He now has a hidden immunity idol or a hidden immunity hat. Justine was voted out. Dwight's walking away from the tribal council pissed off. Steven Fishback summarizes it perfectly with this tweet. That doesn't make sense why Dwight should be pissed off here. Anyway, congratulations Firestar, you're this week's buff giveaway winner. I'll announce a new winner next week and click right here for my rankings of every Survivor auction.